Yes, it's truly remarkable how much stuff can fit into a fanny pack. All those things on the table you see before you came out of that one fanny pack. So if you're heading out the door, or you're going onto a trail, or you're going onto a hike, if you're going anywhere, you just grab that, slap it on yourself, and go. Look at all the stuff you have. If something goes wrong, eh, you got a pretty fighting chance of getting rescued and not being on the other column, which happens. It happens a lot. It happens every year, as a matter of fact. And the only thing that we have to decide now is we know we're going to take all of this stuff in our fanny pack. And now we have to make the decision, are we going to take a backpack as well? Most people are going to say, I'm just going on a day hike. Okay, if you know the trail and you've been on it before, that doesn't really matter, except for the fact that you know how to gauge your time and you know when you need to get back. But something still could go wrong. There's no guarantee. You just don't know. For me, I'm taking this. I'm not only taking the fanny pack, I am taking the backpack. I'm taking the backpack. Daywalk or not, this is no time to be vain or to ascertain how cute you look on the trail or any of that. This is something that if you get turned around and you get lost, you can have a fighting chance. There's a lot of people that have no idea. I mean, I've done it myself. You go over two hills, you turn around, look for the car, you can't see it. Had I not gone the way that I chose to go, I would have been lost. Yeah, glad to see that car. But if I had gone the other way, I really didn't know which way to go. I guess, instinct, which isn't very great when it comes to direction finding with humans. Some people are better than others. But yeah, pure luck. I was just lucky. I had nothing with me. Car keys. I didn't even have water. I just went to take a look at something. And when I turned around and looked, everything looked the same. I didn't know which way to go. So it can happen. It does happen. This is why we have search and rescue everywhere. And it can happen to you. On the left, we misidentified that as being Gatorade. It is, in fact, a tampon. And I know that there are female viewers out there that knew that that was a tampon and that it was not Gatorade. And they're probably still laughing. And, they probably said, what a dumbass. Well, I would just like to say to them that I resemble that statement. And moving on, you're probably wondering, why would you bring a tampon? Two reasons. First is you can rip it apart. It's got cotton in it, and you can start a fire with it. It can be part of your Tinder bundle or not. It'll burn, and that makes fire. And when you're in a wilderness situation, lost out there, fire is the most comforting thing that you can make happen. Now, on the right, we have a needle and thread that's out of our sewing kit. Now, it's not ordinary thread. It's 100 times thicker than thread. You could call it twine. Anyway, you get it in your favorite box store in the sewing section, and it can be used for all kinds of things. Say, for instance, this is our mirror, and it is a signaling device. And the way you use a signaling device is you hold up your hand in front of your face, raise your index finger and your pinky, and keep your middle finger and your fourth finger, your ring finger, down low. And when you shine the mirror into the light for the reflection, the beam of light, you aim in between the two upright fingers, your index finger and your baby finger. And that's how you zero in. Like, say you see something and you want to get their attention. That's how you do it. If you always use it like that, not only will you focus your beam on your target, if they signal you back, you'll see it much easier. Now, say that was in your pocket and somehow your pocket got ripped. Look, you can fall out there, injure yourself. You can just fall and scratch yourself. You can fall in such a way that your backpack and fanny pack come completely off your body and roll down the mountainside. Yeah, there's many things that can happen. So let's say somehow you ripped a pocket, there was a hole in your pocket and you ripped it. And you had this signaling device in that pocket and it fell through the hole and you lost it. Yeah, so don't laugh when it comes time to consider some kind of sewing kit, because the rip could be on a shirt that is protecting your skin from being burned by the sun. It could be in a backpack where you have things. Let's just face it, anything that you've got with you that you've deemed necessary to take with you, you absolutely do need that. To lose any of that is not a good thing. Incidentally, the second thing that a tampon can be used for is for a wound. You have a bloody wound, something that's bleeding profusely, it can help. Not going to help for long. So you may want to have, they're small, they don't take up much space. A half a dozen of them maybe, no problem. I've got extras, I just don't have one. You just never know. But great stuff for dressing a wound, a pretty bloody wound. And a word about the pink tape. You know, you're going to be putting it on branches, going along. You want it about head height. In case you look back, you can see, And not only does it leave a trail where you go, but it leaves a trail for search and rescue to pick up on. If they pick up on your pink tape, you're probably going to make it. They're not too far behind, and it means that there's an active search for you going on. Which brings us to the most important thing before all of this, is letting someone know where you're going and what time to expect you back. Then if something does happen, you know that they're jumping in gear. Now, they may find you, they may not. It's hard to find somebody out there. A demoralizing thing is hearing the whoop, 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 and the helicopter can't see you, flies right by you, and as his motor drains off, as the sound drains off, as he gets farther and farther away in the distance, very demoralizing. But you got to keep your wits about you. You got to know that they're still looking, and they're not going to give up just because they didn't see you. There's still going to be days. They're going to look for you. And if they can find clues from you, from your campsite or whatever the case may be, they can find your pink tape, you're probably going to be okay. It'd be better for search and rescue to find you, to pick up your trail of tape, instead of finding you expired on the trail of tears. So, a good idea to take it and to use it, and all these things are going to add up to your rescue, which is the point of the whole thing, should you get lost. Now, one of a good thing to do when you're leaving your camp, because there's two methods. One, you're going to stay where you're at, and two, you're going to travel because you're going to run out of water, perhaps. Um, you know, you're just deciding that it's time to move. You'll know what to do, but let's just say you decide to travel. Whichever direction you go, leave a big arrow, preferably one that can be seen from the sky. But if not, just leave an arrow which way you headed. Where is the direction that you headed? You can make it out of rocks. You can make it out of digging an arrow in the ground. You can make it from tree boughs. Whatever's available to you, indicate which way you headed out. Now, the only thing in our fanny pack that we didn't talk about was this candle. We identified it as being a candle, but we didn't explain why we had it with us. Now, it's going to be colder at night, and it can get really cold. I mean, it can be 100 in the day where you are, and it could be 45, 52, 53 at night. Well, anything below 65, you're going to be very uncomfortable. And if you have no clothing to protect you and warm you up, you're going to shiver. And once you shiver all night, one night, you're not going to shiver again. You're going to try to stop that from happening because that's caloric loss, and it's just not good. But the body's way of generating heat, so it shivers because it's cold. Now, let's say you're in shorts, a t-shirt, sneakers, and you're cold, but you found some way to get fire. You can take this bag right here. Now, this is a construction bag. It's like, I want to say it's 5 mil thick. They're construction bags. They're very big. What you can do is you can take that construction bag, get in it, like crouch on the ground, kneel on the ground, and put it over you. Put a hole in the top of it so you can breathe. Take that candle, light it, take it inside the bag with you, and just let it burn. Now, as you can see, it's not going to burn forever, but when it gets to be the coldest part of the night, and you'll know because you froze your buns off the night before, you're going to know when the coldest time to light that candle is. And you light that candle and you will be surprised. I mean, out of your mind surprised how warm it gets inside that bag. Now, you can see, what am I going to do? A quarter of it? How many nights have I got? I'm figuring on 5. So I better not burn much more than a quarter of it, but you'll be surprised about how warm that thing keeps you. And you're going to make it through that night, and you might not have slept very well, but you'll have been warm, and then try to catch a couple naps on the trail the next day when you decide to head out, whichever you're heading out. Yeah, this really works, and it can save your butt.